welcome you into Argo Sports Weekly, first one of 2019. I'm Will Kennedy. Stephanie Lawrence Yelton is with us this week to kick things off. One of us has a 10-man basketball team. The other one is me. How are you doing? How's your New Year so far?
The New Year's great. You know, we came out of Christmas break. Had a little bit of troubles coming out of Christmas break, but other than that, we're good where we're sitting right now.
I know listening to you talk a little bit with Tommy Thrall, who, by the way, is no longer with us, but we wish Tommy some success. He's going up to Cincinnati, which is going to be good for him. You were talking about the break and trying to keep your team, in tune, kind of connected to basketball as much as possible. It's tough to do. These kids go home and they have a lot of stuff to do over the holidays.
That's it. We don't normally trust our players to do the kind of exercise and training that we would do with them here on campus while they're home with their families. It's a great opportunity for them to be at home, spend time with their families, get that love, get that home cooking. But when they get back to us, they really have got to be serious about hunkering down and getting themselves back in a good shape, get the team kind of clicking again, and get us ready for game opportunities.
And so maybe the chance for some rust, and you kind of know that as a coach coming in. And we're going to dive into some of the highlights because you guys go on the road, to get things started in 2019. Conference play, you go to Valdosta. A little bit of a tough day. Let's get into those highlights now. Shooting-wise, it's tough to go on the road sometimes and shoot in somebody else's gym. It was one of those kind of nights.
And Valdosta's arena is a very difficult place to play. The lighting is a lot different than most places that we play in. But coming off of Christmas break, that was really the kicker. We had two of our starters that only had 2 days of practice coming into the game because they had siblings who got married on December 31st. And so our team was only together for 2 days prior to this game.
Big night for Toni Brewer. She sets the UWF school rebounding record. No slouch to get that done. There have been some great players that have come through here. But overall, 36% from the field, 17 from three. You're such a great shooting team. That's just a tough thing to stomach, isn't it?
It was a tough night for the players, for us coaches. We were trying to stay positive. We knew we were taking good shots. We were taking in-rhythm shots. They just weren't falling, and they weren't going in for us. And so that you just have one of those nights every now and then. Hopefully that's the last one we have this season.
Toni had the double-double. Haley Neiman with 15.7 rebounds, and Danielle Norquist with 11 points in that game. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Montevallo. Back on the home court. And really, it's nice to get in front of the home crowd again. And it started a little weird, a little wonky at the beginning, but then things smoothed out.
Yeah, we started that first quarter a little bit slow. We came in after the quarter, made some defensive adjustments, and then really started clicking after that. 16-0 run in the second quarter breaks things open. Let's talk about Fannie Homey, though. Some nights, everything you look at goes in. She had one of those. Oh, Fannie, we have been waiting for that moment for her. She's a freshman in our program from Finland, and she's got 4 very talented seniors playing around her. So we have been working to get her kind of involved and into the flow of the offense. And, man, against Montevallo, that was her night.
Everybody kind of stepped up. Fannie 6 for 6 on three-pointers, 20 points. Haley, 16 points. Toni, 17 and 10, another double-double. Belle Bistro with 15 points, shot it well as well. Anna Hall, 1 free throw away from another triple-double.
Amazing effort from Anna Hall, and I know she was disappointed when she missed those free throws at the end of the game to really solidify a bigger lead, but we're happy with her performance.
This is the kind of game, and I talked to you afterwards on the broadcast, you got a chance to get some other young players in, get them some experience, and I thought Deasia Collins really came in, sparked that second quarter run a little bit, played some great defense.
We've been waiting for those younger players to kind of step up, and now that we're in January, this is the time that most of those young freshmen start to play a little bit better. So we saw a great performance by Fannie. Deasia Collins came off the bench for us and gave us some great minutes, and then we had Rachel McCree, who put in 3 or 4 really solid minutes, had some amazing assists within our offense. So we're hoping that's coming along to make us a 7 and 8-man deep roster.
What do you do in practice as a coach with these players to try, especially when someone's hot and, if Fannie Homey has a game like that, to try to keep that positivity going, to keep her confidence high?
You have to keep encouraging her. Keep encouraging her to shoot shots, to shoot open shots, to shoot those shots in the flow. But, it's a matter of just staying in her head that she's done it once, she can do it again, and she can do it over and over again.
Having a senior point guard with the experience that Anna has, I think she knows when somebody's hot, get her the ball. That definitely seemed like that's what happened, to have that kind of coach on the floor a little bit.
Yes, Anna Hall is that extension of our coaching staff on the floor. She's a super smart player. She is a super talented player. She's able to find teammates in open areas. She's able to play great defense against her opponents, but she really helps us in the flow of both offense and defense, of keeping things organized and understanding what we need in the moment.
13 rebounds, 10 assists in the game. The 9 points, She's going to work on some free throws maybe in practice?
Oh, no doubt. And she is one of those players that it is grinding on her that she missed that triple-double. But she's more impressed with the team winning than she is with those personal stats.
Would have been her third. All right, you guys are getting ready for a road trip to Mississippi. We're going to talk about that with Coach Stephanie Lawrence-Yelton when Argo Sports Weekly continues.
You can't stop it. That undeniable charge. So bright. So loud. It rips through the clutches of mediocrity. It breaks down walls, blazes past old ways of thinking. It's creativity, pure electric energy. What will you do with it? The University of West Florida. No limits.
Just go do it. Go do it. If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
Mercy Ships is bringing services to countries that would otherwise never be able to access those services.
We just see people that need help. You realise that they have no way of getting help, and I want them to know that they're loved.
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. The water crisis is vast, but we can solve it. Just $20 can provide one person with access to a clean water project in their village. CharityWater.org. Join us.
Back here on Argo Sports Weekly with Stephanie Lawrence-Yelton, the coach of the women's basketball team at the University of West Florida. You guys hit the road this week, a little home cooking over the weekend on Saturday, but now, and these are long road trips. This is out to Delta State, where they have a pretty rich history in women's basketball.
Delta State is the mecca of Division II women's basketball. They've won multiple national championships back when the NCAA was not sponsoring women's sports in the AIAW. And in their lobby, I mean, a magnificent display from Margaret Wade, their coach. We have the Wade Trophy in women's basketball that goes to the National Player of the Year. And so just a rich history. And I don't know if our players actually know the arena that they're going into and the ghost that they may have to play against when they walk into that gym.
Google it, kids. If you don't know who Margaret
That's
Wade
right.
is, you learn a little something about the history of the game and also a great woman. But it's a long road trip, too, to get out there and drive all the way out to Delta State. And then you guys turn around. That's the Thursday game. Turn around on Saturday and go to Mississippi College, which is another tough place to play. How do you kind of, what do you guys do as a team when you hit the road to kind of stay focused but also have a little fun?
Well, we'll practice here Wednesday and then hit the road. So really Wednesday is about traveling and then getting to the hotel. Thursday will be shooting practice, film, getting ready for the game. And then, of course, after the game at Delta State, we'll travel on to Clinton, Mississippi to head towards Mississippi College. Friday will be a day of preparation. So we watch film, we go to practice. But normally we try to mix in something fun on that day, whether it's go to the movies or hit a museum or do something that our players don't normally get to do. And then, of course, Saturday will be all about getting ready for the game early that morning and playing that 2 o'clock tip-off.
What do you expect from these two opponents, conference opponents?
Oh, man, I think it's going to be super physical. I think it's going to be super fast. These two teams are very different. Delta State's going to play a banging in the paint kind of game, and they've got an amazing point guard to go along with them. And then Mississippi College is going to play a little bit more pressured, a little bit more athletic than Delta State will play. But it's two very challenging places to play and two very good teams.
I just hear the name Delta State, and I assume physicality will be involved.
Oh, yeah.
With the seniors that you have, though, and that core group that kind of leads your team, a little easier to go on the road for games like this when you have that kind of leadership?
I really trust our seniors right now. They do a great job preparing themselves mentally, physically, emotionally for games. And it's going to take all three of those to really come out with that win at Delta State.
You guys are not just achieving on the basketball court with 10 wins so far and a good conference record as well, but you're turning around and getting things done in the classroom. I saw on social media a post that you had, I believe, 10 of your 13 players that achieved a 3.0 or higher. That is fantastic.
Yeah, 10 of the 13, amazing. The most I've ever had since I've been a coach here. An overall team GPA of 3.27. So we're super proud. We celebrate that each semester with a steak dinner at my house, cooked by my husband, which I think cooks the best steaks in Pensacola. But the team loves it. We love to celebrate that accomplishment with them and to let them know that their hard work doesn't go unnoticed, that we appreciate what they're doing in the classroom and working towards those degrees.
Coaching smart players, it's a little easier, isn't it?
It makes it a little bit easier. I can bring that up in practice every now and then, that I know that we can remember to do things, and I know that we're smart enough to figure out some game plan and how to make some adjustments.
These really are student athletes, too, by the way. The University of West Florida, of course, Division II, and these kids go to class, they come to practice, they do all that. More than 170 student athletes across 15 sports achieve that 3.0 mark. A little bit later on this year, we'll have those All-Americans and All-Conference. When it comes to academics come out, I mean, it just makes you proud, I know, to be part of something like that.
Building champions for life. That's what our motto is all about. And so when we're doing that in the classroom, we know most of our players are never going to play professional sports. So they're going to be professionals in their degree field and in their career. So we're really pushing that, and we want that accomplishment, but we also want them to leave Pensacola area with a ring on that finger too.
As we're 13 games in, 10-3 so far. You kind of assess a little bit where you are as the conference schedule picks up here as we get into 2019. Routine starts happening in these games, these tough conference opponents. Kind of how do you assess this team at this point?
I think we're right on track where we want to be. We've played the top tier, the top two teams that are above us right now in the league. We've already played them. We don't get to play them again. So now we're playing those teams that are right there neck and neck with us, and then those teams that are a little bit below us right now. So I feel good about where we are. We've got to go on the road, which is always tough in this league. But for people who don't know women's basketball in the GSC, this is the ACC SEC of women's basketball at Division II. We are going to get 3, 4, maybe even 5 teams in the NCAA tournament this season. And so when you're stepping on the court in conference play, it's the real deal. And our players have to show up and play to get those wins.
Good luck on the road in the Mississippi road trip. The ladies will be at home against Shorter on the 17th. West Georgia comes in on the 19th, and it's always fun to come out and watch them play. Thank you, Coach. And coming up next, we're going to talk with Bryan Chalifoux, the men's team, and also get to know Toni Brewer, the school rebounding leader, a little bit better. We'll spend 60 seconds with her. You're watching Argo Sports Weekly.
You can't stop it. That undeniable charge. A thunderous spark. So bright. So loud. It cuts through clutter. Rips through the clutches of mediocrity. It breaks down walls. Tears down barriers. And blazes past old ways of thinking. It demands to be seen, heard, and understood. It's creativity. Pure electric energy. What will you do with it? The University of West Florida. No limits.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Facing life's difficulties takes strength and determination. Whether it's physical challenges or struggles you can't see, it takes strength to ask for help when you need it. Learn how other veterans have reached out and hear their stories of strength and recovery at maketheconnection.net.
Welcome back to Argo Sports Weekly. Basketball not the only sport going on as we roll into 2019. UWF swimming and diving took a little break since Thanksgiving. First time back in the pool. They hosted Ouachita Baptist for a meet on Saturday, and the Argos got some things done, winning all but one event for Coach Phil Krause and his team. They won 10 of the 11 events. Christina Kilpatrick wins the 1,000 freestyle. That's a long way to swim. I'm tired just thinking about it. Lauren Johnson, the 100 back win. Arden Grabenhorst with the 500 free, and Esther Rossetto, the 200 individual medley and the 100 breast, a double win for her. We caught up with Coach Phil Krause after the meet to talk about his Argos and how they're rolling at this point in the season.
I thought we did a pretty good job. We've been here back for 10 days training, so they've done a pretty good job of working hard. We're doing a lot of doubles, a little bit more than we normally do in a week. So they're kind of beat up and tired and sore. We saw some of that coming out, but we also saw some good races, people that did a nice job over the last month and did a really good job of setting themselves up. So this time of the year, that's what we want, and we're ready to go in a couple more weeks.
The Argos will be back in the pool at the Aquatic Center. That is coming up January 19th. A home meet. They'll have Emory, a Division III powerhouse, in the pool, as well as Delta State, I think ranked number 11 in the country at this point. So good luck to them. We'll be keeping an eye on swimming for you. One thing we like to do here on Argo Sports Weekly is get to know our student athletes a little better, talk about some things that are happening for them off the court. What are they into? What kind of things do they like? This week, we spend 60 seconds with UWF basketball player Toni Brewer. It's time for 60 Seconds with, and this time we've got Toni Brewer from the UWF women's basketball team, a senior, playing the post, and we'd like to get to know you guys off the court a little bit. Where are you from?
I'm from Huntsville, Alabama.
Hunts Vegas, up there. The Tennessee Valley. What do you miss most about home?
What I miss most about home, I think I would say probably my mom, my grandma, especially my grandma's cooking.
What do you have on your iPod or your playlist?
I listen to a lot of things, but I love the Migos. I really walk it like I talk it. That's my theme song for this.
I gotta ask then, who's your favorite Migos?
It's so hard. I like Quavo, I like Offset and Takeoff. I would have to say Takeoff because he's kind of like, he's more quiet.
What are your plans for when you're done here? Senior this year, what do you plan to do after school?
I've really always been interested in radio. I want to have my own radio show one day, so hopefully I can start off doing that.
Can I be on your show?
Yeah, of course, anytime.
All right, 60 Seconds with Toni Brewer. That was a little time with UWF women's basketball player Toni Brewer, the all-time career rebounding leader. Now we have Bryan Chalifoux from the UWF men's team joining us now, the junior out of Gainesville, Florida. Bryan, thanks for joining us, first of all, and tell us a little bit about yourself. You're out of Gainesville. What are you studying here at UWF?
I'm studying business administration with a specialization in finance.
Sounds like the goal is to make some money one day.
Yeah, hopefully either get in management or financial advisor, something like that. So
very good. That's a tough major to work on. You had a great game, a career high 18 points against Montevallo in the last time out, and shot the ball well, and were very aggressive from what I saw. First chance to call a game here for UWF. You followed your shot, which is what coaches tell you all the time.
Yeah, well, a couple of them I knew I missed, so I ran after right away. But just getting confidence from my teammates, and especially Rashawn, just telling me to shoot the ball. So just try to stay aggressive the whole time.
I know Coach is really preaching to you guys a lot about energy and pride. And I know it's tough coming off a season like last season to have some of the struggles that are going on this year. How do you, as a guy with some experience, help keep this team together and keep that energy up?
Well, we're just trying to improve game by game at this point, and I think, honestly, the best thing we can do is just build on each game and not really look too far into the future. Just kind of get better by every play, every practice, just trying to improve going forward.
Now, for you, we always like to ask athletes, when you're not on the court and you've got that time away from the court, what do you like to do? A lot of your teammates tell me, it's video games for them and other kind of stuff. What are you into?
Yeah, video games. I actually play golf sometimes in my free time, but that's pretty much it. Either video games, schoolwork, just hanging out.
Good golfer or bad golfer?
I played in high school, so I'm all right. So
handicap?
Probably I don't know at this point, but it used to be like a 4 or 5. So
that's pretty good. If you don't know at home, that's not bad. So if you run into Bryan Chalifoux out on the golf course, probably the best thing is to not play him for any money, right?
Probably not. No.
What do you guys need to do on this road trip as you guys go to Mississippi? It's a long road trip to Delta and the Mississippi College. It's going to be tough.
I think the same thing. We just got to improve these next couple of days in practice, and then take it game by game, try to go to Delta, find a way to win there, and then move to Mississippi College and focus on them next.
All right, good luck out on the road. Thank you for joining us, Bryan Chalifoux. When we come back, we're going to catch up with men's basketball coach Jeff Burkhammer to break down the games they've played heading into the new year and also what's ahead for the Argos. Right here on Argo Sports Weekly on the UWF Sports Network.
You can't stop it. That undeniable charge. So bright, so loud. It rips through the clutches of mediocrity. It breaks down walls, blazes past old ways of thinking. It's creativity, pure electric energy. What will you do with it? The University of West Florida. No limits.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
We're back, and we're here with Coach Jeff Burkhammer, a men's basketball coach at UWF. First of all, Happy New Year to you, and I know we hadn't seen you, so last show was last year. You guys have played a couple games, got back into the swing of it before, actually, the calendar year flipped over, and it was a nice game, especially that December 30th one.
Well, the LaGrange game was a nice game to play before we get back into conference play. Gets guys back a couple practices, and then we get to play non-conference foes, so that was good for us to play somebody before we got back into conference.
Back into conference play, you went on the road at Valdosta, had a home game here with Montevallo. I know there's a lot of things you're still working on as we flip over to 2019.
Still a lot of things in progress. Yeah, we got to continue to improve, and we've had a tough stretch with some of the tougher teams in our league here right at the beginning of the year, but we just got to keep getting better.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights that we have, and we'll start with this LaGrange game here. And it was a good contest, especially for John Brown at home, and that's a youngster that was the kind of game he needs.
Well, John's I think one of the best freshmen, if not the best freshman in the league. Going to have a great career here, played very well in this game, and he's continued to get a real good feel for college basketball this season.
Did you like how aggressive he was in that ball game?
Love how aggressive he is. He's got to cut down some turnovers, but love how aggressive he is, driving the ball. He's making shots. He rebounds. And the great thing about John is he always competes.
Brett Carter Jr., when he's on, and he really has a nice stroke.
Well, probably Brett's best game since he's been here. Looked really good shooting the ball, and was real happy to see him have a good game.
One thing I do know is that Jarrett Henderson likes to dunk a lot, and he got some in this game.
Well, Jarrett's an athletic guy. He's best when he's running and jumping, and he did get some dunks in this game, and those are always great highlights for the fans.
It was a career night for John Brown, 23 points, a career high. Brett Carter, 14 points in that game. Henderson with 11 points and 5 rebounds. And Henry with a double-double, and he's had a couple nice games for you.
Henry's had some real good games for us, continues to improve. Gives us some of the things that we're really looking for with rebounding and scoring, and he gets where he's finishing a little bit more consistently. He's going to be a complete player.
And Coach, Valdosta is always a tough place to play. It helped to have Rashawn have a big game, but you're relying on him for a lot of scoring.
Well, I think Valdosta probably has the best game environment in the league. It's always a tough place to play over there. You've got to go in there and play really well. And on top of that, they're a really good team. But Rashawn played well. He led us as a senior leader and really did a good job of controlling the game and not letting the game get crazy, because if you get up and down with Valdosta, you're usually in trouble. We played the game in the 70s, which is what we wanted to play it, and didn't want them to get in the 90s like they were averaging, and Rashawn's a big reason for that.
Henry with a double-double, Rashawn with 20 points, and then, of course, it was a tough one. Montevallo, a lot of size inside.
Well, they were big. They were really big, and they go 6'9", 280, and 6'7", 250, and playing against our guys, we've got about 50 pounds in one spot and 40 in the other, and I thought we battled them hard, but their big guys wore us down a little bit, I thought, late in the game.
Career night for Bryan Chalifoux, who had 18 points, shot the ball pretty well from outside. Impressed with the way he followed some misses, too.
Yeah, Bryan had a good game. We got him shots on catch and shoots, really good job penetrating and throwbacks to him, and he was able to make some shots to keep us in the game.
Hey, Coach, we've talked a little bit about, this team and having some injury issues and then trying to bring some young players up to speed a little bit. What are you working on in practice now as we push into the 2019 and the rest of this conference schedule?
Well, we've got a lot of things to work on. We've changed things throughout the year. We've run different offenses. We've tried different lineups. About everybody's had an opportunity to play, and and get minutes to kind of see what they could do, and we'll just continue to play around with that, see if we can find a lineup that works the best together. Try to find something that offensively maybe that it helps us score a little bit more. We've struggled to score the basketball. And defensively, we've been pretty good. Defense has kept us in the game and allowed us to hang around. So we can improve a little bit offensively. I think second semester we can find some way to beat some people.
Energy level, that's one of the things I know you've talked about, is just having that energy to start a game and keep it going.
Well, the Montevallo game, I thought we were really poor in that game, and probably the worst we've been since I've been here as far as energy. That's something we normally have. We normally play very hard, and for some reason in that game, we just did not play with that zest and energy that you need to beat a team like Montevallo. So hopefully we'll bounce back and play well this week.
All right, we're going to talk about those games that Coach referenced coming up this week. Road trip into Mississippi is up next on the schedule for the Argos. We'll do that when Argo Sports Weekly continues.
You can't stop it. That undeniable charge. So bright, so loud. It rips through the clutches of mediocrity. It breaks down walls, blazes past old ways of thinking. It's creativity, pure electric energy. What will you do with it? The University of West Florida, no limits.
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. The water crisis is vast, but we can solve it. Just $20 can provide one person with access to a clean water project in their village. CharityWater.org. Join us.
And we're back with Coach Jeff Burkhammer here on Argo Sports Weekly. You guys are hitting the road, and these are some tough places to go play. When you get into Mississippi, it's a little bit of a long trip to Delta first. That's Thursday.
Well, Delta will be tough. They're very well coached. They're a tough team, big and strong. Team we beat in the championship last year. So we know that would be a very difficult task going in there to play.
This conference, there really aren't those nights off. Sometimes you get into conferences where there can be that. You get, I got these 2 games in a row. We can take a little bit of a breather there. It doesn't work that way in the GSC.
It doesn't. You look at scores throughout the league over the last couple of weeks, and you can see where teams that are maybe below their opponent have won. Teams going on the road and winning. So it's a tough league, and you better be ready to play every night.
Saturday, Mississippi College, you go up there. That's an interesting gym. If you've never been there, it's got this kind of domed roof, and it's really, really nice inside. You can get caught up kind of staring around a little.
They got the biggest TV screen in there in the history of the game, I think, for a facility that size. But it is an interesting place to play, and we've played well in there, so hopefully we'll go into this year and play well.
When you take a team like this at this point of the season, you guys don't have a conference win yet, with the record that you have. And I know this is where coaches sometimes can do your best coaching, is trying to get these kids, bring them up a little bit and make sure that the intensity you talked about in the last segment is there. How tough is it to go on the road and motivate?
It's going to be tough. There's nothing easy about going on the road and playing, and more so than going on the road is the people you're playing. And Delta's a very good team. Mississippi College has got very good players, so it's a challenge. We've had a couple games that we probably should have won and didn't, and now it's kind of snowballed on us a little bit. We got to fight our way out of it.
Who are you looking for, maybe take that next step on your squad? We saw some highlights there, Brett Carter Jr. and players like that are younger and getting some great experience.
Well, we need to get Max Benoit back in the fold. He's been out with dehydration for 2 weeks with that. We got to get him back on again. He is a guy that gives us a little bit more offense and gives us a playmaker, so he's probably the key guy.
Mississippi College, when you head up there and then you get the chance to come back home, so we've got some home games coming up. It's a little bit of a ways away. The crowd that was in here Saturday was nice. Talk a little bit about that, about having that student body here, hopefully, but getting a good crowd and getting these guys some energy.
Well, we haven't played a lot of home games, and that's been hard. We really had a difficult time scheduling last year, coming off a great season, and nobody wanted to play. So we had to go on the road some. We played some trips where we played a neutral site game and an away game, and really just didn't have many home games. So we're hoping some folks come out and support us here in the second semester and get some students in the crowd and make some excitement. That always helps our players.
All right, Coach Jeff Burkhammer and the Argos will hit the road. Delta State Thursday night, Mississippi College on Saturday before returning the following weekend for a couple games here. Good luck to you guys on the road. We want to thank Coach Jeff Burkhammer. We want to thank Stephanie Lawrence Yelton and Bryan Chalifoux for joining us this week on Argo Sports Weekly. You can follow the Argos when they're on the road. Go to goargos.com for game statistics and get those scores there. And we'll see you next week right here on Argo Sports Weekly on the UWF Sports Network.